Hi, everyone, and welcome to F-Bomb Friday. I am your host, Tracy Preston, along with my husband, Todd. Hey, hon.
Hey, baby.
Are you ready?
I am ready.
Let's hit it. On today's show, I'm going to tell you about the Detroit Pig Lady. Ever heard of it before? My guess is you haven't. Legends of the pig-faced woman originally started in the early 1600s in the Netherlands, England, and France. The tales tell of a wealthy woman who had a normal human body, but a face that resembled a pig. In the earliest versions of the stories, the woman's pig-like appearance is the result of witchcraft. According to legend, after her wedding day, the pig-faced woman's new husband is granted the choice of having her appear beautiful to him, but pig-like to others, or pig-like to him and beautiful to others. Well, the husband truly loved his bride, and he tells her that the choice is hers. At that moment, the spell is broken, and the woman's pig-like appearance vanishes, and she returns to her normal, beautiful self. Now, these stories gained popularity in England and in Ireland. Eventually, the elements of magic faded from the tales, and the belief of existing pig-faced women began to be treated as fact instead of fairy tale. The story became so widespread in Dublin, Ireland, in the early 19th century, it became widely believed that a philanthropist by the name of Griselda Stevens kept herself hidden away from the public eye because she had the face of a pig. Rumors swept London, England in late 1814 and early 1815 that a pig-faced woman was living in Marylebone. It was widely reported that her existence was a fact, and a great number of alleged portraits of her were published. It became commonplace to believe that pig-faced women truly existed, and showmen began exhibiting real, live pig-faced women at fairs and sideshows. They likely were not genuine women, but instead, they were bears with their fur shaved off and dressed in women's clothing. Although the initial thought of a shaved bear dressed as a human woman and passed off as a pig-faced lady, well, that may seem funny at first, but it was truly a horrible case of animal cruelty. The showman would drug the bear into a stupor by feeding it large quantities of strong beer and then shave it. Once the bear was shaved, the drunken bear would be fitted with padded fake breasts and dressed in women's clothing, donning a wig, and tied to a chair. The audience would be told by the showman that the pig-faced lady couldn't speak, but could answer their questions. 1 grunt for yes, and 2 grunts for no. The audience would then ask her questions, and a member of the crew would poke the bear with a stick to get it to grunt in reply. How awful. Now I'm mad as hell.
Yeah. Because I gave it a good chuckle when I first heard the fact that they were shaving a bear and making it look like a pig-faced lady. But it's truly more than that, and it really broke my heart to even think that humans would do that.
Well, humans are capable of some pretty horrific things, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just... All right. Belief in pig-faced women eventually declined by the early 1900s. However, modern urban legends have resurfaced in the United States, with tales coming from Pennsylvania, Maryland, New Jersey, and our very own Motor City, Detroit, Michigan. The story of the Detroit Pig Lady is a far cry from the fairy tale-like story from the 1600s. First, let's discuss the alleged origins of the Pig Lady, as there are a couple of versions. The first version says that she was born so disfigured that her embarrassed father tried to disguise her ugliness by cutting the head off a pig and covering the girl's head with the skin of the dead swine. Okay, first of all, ew. And secondly, this man thought by covering his daughter's head with the skin of a decapitated pig would improve her appearance? Like what in the actual? Okay, the other version says that she actually resembled a real pig. When she was a child, the other kids in the neighborhood bullied and picked on her constantly. When the girl grew to become an adult, she hid away in her home and avoided interaction with the general public. At some point in time, a group of neighborhood teenage boys decided that they would ridicule and tease the old pig-faced woman. They devised a plan to slaughter a pig, put its head on her porch, ring the doorbell, and then run. Oh, classic.
Yeah. The old pig head on a porch trick.
Right. So, one night, they proceeded with their devious plan and were never heard from or seen again. Rumor has it that when the woman passed away years later, the bones of the missing boys were discovered buried in her old garden. So, is that the end of the pig lady? No, not quite. It is said that if you shut yourself in a closet or a dark room and make sure the door stays shut as you chant,
"Pig lady, pig lady, pig lady,"
over and over again for half hour or as long as you can, when you exit the room and go to the nearest mirror, when you look into it, you will see the pig lady standing right next to you. Oh, hell no. Oh, no.
Oh my gosh.
That gives me the freaking chills.
Right.
All right, so now this is very similar to the Bloody Mary and Candyman stories, where if you repeat their names 3 times while looking into a mirror, they will appear. And anyone that is familiar with these stories and movies know, when you summon these terrors, bad shit happens. Like death. So, why would anyone attempt to do this is beyond me. Is the story of the Detroit Pig Lady just an urban legend? Or is there truth behind the creepy tale? Some people say that after trying to summon the pig lady, some crazy things have occurred, like having nightmares of being chased by a pig-headed woman and having mirrors fall off the walls and shatter on the floor. Others believe if you walk down the railroad tracks at night, you may get a visit from the pig lady, as she is said to haunt railroad tracks. Now, it's never specified which railroad tracks, so we'll just have to assume that it's all of them. In our opinion, the story of the pig lady is just an urban legend, a story made up to give us all a good chill up the old spine. But we are not willing to test the theory for validity. Well, you can say that again.
You can say that again. I would never, ever, ever, ever dream of trying this.
No, even when I was like in junior high with the whole Candy Man and Bloody Mary thing,
Yeah.
nope. I was too freaked out just standing in front of the mirror thinking I would do it.
Why would you want to try to invite something so scary to happen?
I don't know.
You know, if I'm going to do something like that, I'm going to be going $1 billion, $1 billion, $1 billion, because that's what I want to manifest, you know, something
Right.
positive.
Right.
Not the pig lady. No, I don't want no pig lady visiting me.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think we should start chanting $1 billion tonight.
Now, I have to admit, and I didn't recite pig lady over and over again. I didn't lock myself in a closet or a dark room. But I had a bad dream about the pig lady last night, and I think it was because we watched that pig lady movie.
What happened?
Well, it was just a short little blip in my dream, but yeah, I was being chased by the Detroit pig lady. So last night we checked out the Tales of the Detroit Pig Lady movie.
We actually found it on, was it? It wasn't, it was on Tubi.
It was on Tubi.
We found it on Tubi.
Yeah.
Couldn't believe it.
Yeah. And, you know, for the sake of investigation, we endured this movie. And when I say we endured it, it was painful.
Painful.
I would say, you know, because they kind of rate movies, you know, and this didn't even make it to the class of a B movie.
I would say M or P. Let's say P for pig.
Yeah. But it was cool. I mean, it was kind of cool because they did touch on a lot of the parts of the legend, but the sound quality was horrible.
The sound quality was absolutely horrible.
The acting was barely better than the sound quality.
Truth.
And it was an hour or so of our life that we'll never get back again.
No, we'll never get it back. And it's funny because so the movie starts off with a woman sitting in what looks like a library with 4 or 5 children, probably 8, 9, 10,
Yeah.
maybe 11.
Yeah.
And she's telling some pretty brutal stories.
Right. Yeah, it's kind of set up like a Tales of the Crypt where it's got the little short stories, but they're all involving the pig lady, the Detroit pig lady. But all these kids, they're into it.
They really were quite engaged. And I'm thinking, what parent said, yeah, I'm going to send them to, let's go listen to the pig lady stories.
Right.
And not nary a parent nearby.
No.
It's like a stop and drop.
Right.
Yeah.
And how about the story of the dad?
Brutal.
So embarrassed of his ugly daughter that, hey, you know what? We slap some dead pig skin on you. I bet people quit looking at you weird.
What a dope. What a dope.
Right.
What does he look like?
Right. And what did he do? What did he do to make a pig-faced girl?
Right. He must have lived a very bad life.
Yeah. So, yeah, when I stumbled across this urban legend, my first visual thought that came to my head was Miss Piggy from The Muppet Show. And I was like, oh my gosh. That would be kind of terrifying, too, to have Miss Piggy coming after you.
I might dream of Miss Piggy coming after me tonight. She had a bad temper.
She did have a bad temper. Poor Kermit. He really had to put up with a lot.
Yeah, but she was a swanky dresser.
She was.
Her hair was always dead nice.
Yeah, she was sexy in her own way.
She always wore the high heels.
And everybody loves bacon.
Maybe that's why she was so fancy all the time, because she was a pig.
Right.
Dress, what do they say? You put lipstick on a pig, it's still a pig.
That's right. That's right.
I don't think you can dress up the pig lady.
You can't dress up the pig lady.
No,
No.
because this one is quite frightening.
Yeah. And I'm gonna go as far to say is that she was after mortal people because she's looking for a new face. She got stuck with this pig face
Oh,
that her dad made her wear. You know, maybe she's like, I mean, it's an endless job because she can't find a face that fits over her big, creepy head. And unfortunately, people have to die because you can't try a face on until you have the head. So
That would be brutal. They have to die.
they have to, hey, you know what? You look like about a size 9. I'm going to take your head.
You have a very large head. In fact, so large that I think that's going to work.
Right.
Get out the old fillet knife.
Is it fillet or fillet?
I'm going with fillet,
Okay.
but I think it's fillet
Well, my razor brand is Gelée.
or Gillette. Is it feminine or masculine?
It's tomato.
No. Potato.
So a tomato is a female tomato. A tomato is a male tomato.
Are you making this shit up?
Of course I am.
Well, you know, hon, you dug deep and you got us. I've never heard of the pig lady.
I've never heard of the pig lady either, and I just kind of stumbled upon it, and I was like, oh, I got to find out about this.
Absolutely. And your artwork that goes with this show is spectacular.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, great job on that.
Thank you, baby.
Oh, you want to wrap us up?
I sure do. You better lock your doors. You better lock your windows. And you might want to check under your bed.
And if I see that pig lady under there, I'm going to make some bacon.
Right. Well, that's what we're trying to do with this podcast, is make some bacon. So subscribe,
Like,
and love us, and comment, and stay in touch
share,
with us.
and share.
And share,
Like, subscribe, share. Like, subscribe, and share. You get the point.
Yeah, we got to make that manifest. So after this,
We're
after
going in the
done,
closet.
We're going to go in the closet, and we're going to subscribe, and share.
Exactly. Well, thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everybody. And we will see you again on Malice Monday.
We'll see you on Monday.